All right, good morning. It is kind of cold. It's like 35 degrees right now. And it's about 7 a.m. We are walking over to the actual hot air balloon festival ground where we're going to be doing the morning launch in about half an hour. We got our Gatorades and rock stars and everything, so we're gonna keep ourselves awake, and honestly the cold's kind of helping with that too. I'm not usually either awake or outside at this hour, honestly.
I'm always awake.
Cat's definitely awake at this hour, but I am not. Now some of you might be wondering, after we do this for about an hour or so, what's next? Your guess is as good as ours. We have no idea. We were thinking maybe go to St. George, because that's about 40 minutes away. That could be something. We've never been to Utah, so we could do that. There was a little museum that we passed on the way here that we thought could be cool in Overton, staying in Nevada, so that's an option. Yeah, we're not really sure, so I don't know. Stay tuned, follow along, because you're gonna find out as we do. Here we are. We got all of these balloons being unpacked here. And then, so that's literally the highway. Right up there, you can see all like the cars and trucks and everything driving by. And then if you look right beyond it, I don't know, maybe I can zoom in on the edit, but there are a bunch of cars and like people like setting up to watch the launch from up on top of that mountain. And that's actually a pretty crazy spot to watch this. It probably looks sick from there, but personally, I'm okay with my view here on the ground, because I'll watch all of these go up all around me, and it's gonna be pretty sick, I think. But we got all of the balloons being unpacked here, the tarps laid out, so that they basically, what happens is they unroll the balloons onto the ground, or on the tarps, and the tarps are basically there not so much to make sure the balloons don't get dirty, but also, and more importantly, to make sure that they don't rip. If there's like broken glass or something on the ground, or sharp rocks, obviously you don't want to be putting your balloon on that, and then when it blows up it catches on something and gets ripped, and then suddenly your balloon can't hold air. But so these are a bunch of them, and then there's a whole other row behind them. I don't know if we're allowed to walk over that far, so I'm not going to. But then there's this whole like staging area here. They got music playing. They have a concessions area over there with like coffee and snacks and stuff. People are bringing their dogs. This is basically like a whole like family friendly kind of event. If I had kids, this would be a great place to bring them. People, obviously have their dogs, and you have all generations here, honestly. You have people as young as probably 3 or 4 years old, all the way up to people who are clearly in their 80s and 90s. So this is actually super cool.
Going from flight service weather, the weather this morning, you see some high clouds moving in. The ceilings are at 19,000. That's MSL, with the tops at 26,000. So this is kind of prefrontal. All the weather's to the north. There's a stationary front running over northern Nevada. No air met where we're at here though. No air mets, no SIGMETs, no adverse conditions. There is a presidential TFR. So if you want to get gallant and go for a long ride, don't go south of Moapa. Current winds 090 at 8. Visibility greater than 10, clear below 12,000, temperature 4, dew point minus 22, 29.80 is the altimeter. The TAF, up until 2300 Zulu, that's so mid-afternoon, they're saying 030 at 9. That's coming out of the north at 9. Visibility unrestricted, and then the winds do pick up and get gusty down there mid-afternoon. So it looks good for this morning for a flight. So where's my pie ball? Thank you. Remember, we can't steer our balloons, so we watch this intently to see which way we're going to go, and we just go up and down to kind of gather. You'll notice the winds go slightly different directions. as that pie ball goes up, and that's what we're going to go up and down and try to grab those different directions.
So that was actually super cool. I didn't realize that they get like all the pilots together to do a briefing. I guess it makes sense when you have this many aircraft taking off in such a short, small space, and especially with a balloon, you can't control the direction. Everybody's kind of got to be on the same page. If they all got their own weather briefings, they could all get, you know, different data. You don't know where they're pulling it from. So that was actually really cool. And as someone who's trying to become a pilot, has been doing ground school and stuff, it's actually cool that I knew a lot of what that meant. Not everything, but enough to make me happy. So I'm nerding out a little bit right now. All right, first balloon getting inflated. So it looks like the balloon is kind of attached to this rope, and then he pulls on the rope, I guess, to kind of just like pull it out so the air has room to kind of fill the balloon. It doesn't have to work quite as hard to pump the air in. And then probably at a certain point he no longer has to do that once it's upright enough. You got all the ones in the distance there. So they literally just pump a giant fan, literally just blowing regular air into the balloon until there's enough that they can start running the hot air. You see they're doing it over here as well. So basically they're just kind of creating like a wind tunnel almost straight into the balloon. It's actually crazy that something that big can literally just be rolled up and put in the back of a van or a small trailer like that. So it's really interesting to me like how close these things can get. I mean, those are literally touching, and there's people there just kind of pushing them apart a little bit. Like you would never run planes that close to each other. At least not on purpose. And once the balloons are up in the air, you don't notice it, but they all have these like separate pieces on the top that aren't sewn to the main walls. I guess it's to let a certain amount of air out the top, which you then just replace with new air. It's actually a very surreal experience, just like watching all of these things pop up around you.
So, I'm already planning our trip to Albuquerque to go do this on a bigger scale.
There's another hot air balloon festival in Albuquerque that runs for like 2 weeks.
The hot air balloon festival.
The hot air balloon festival. I think we're about to become hot air balloon people. Which is funny because I don't think Kat has any interest in ever going in one. And the first one is up, and away. I guess once they're ready, they can all just kind of take off whenever they want. This one looks like it's getting ready to go. So now, once they have enough air in there that the balloon is kind of supporting itself, at least for a little bit, they can start running the hot air. They gotta keep that fabric out of the path of the burner. Looks like it's going a little sideways. So last night we were talking about the guys holding the ropes in case the wind kind of blows it one way or the other before it's really ready to. So the guy on the other side of this balloon now is pulling the rope to try and bring it back that way. But it looks like the wind's fighting him a little bit. kind of knock it into this guy over here. And this one looks like it'll be up in a minute. This guy's having a grand old time over there. He's just like, no, I'm gone. I'm good. Don't worry about me. Looks like this purple one here is going to be getting ready to launch any second now. One thing I will say, with all the fans going at once and the burners and everything, it definitely is loud. Not like unbearably loud, but I was tired before. Let's just say I've been woken up. These two here look like they are about to be going up any second now. Looks like they're pulling the tarp back. And they're, I'm not close enough to be able to hear them, but it looks like the team around this guy is pointing at the balloon that's already up and just kind of telling him about the direction that it's going, kind of giving him its own briefing. This one's coming up here as well. While it's tipping, yeah. Or untipping, I guess.
I'm scared of heights.
Here we go. So they're actually, he's just off the ground and they're helping walk him out, I guess, to a place where he's not touching these guys, but this one is going, which kind of opens the door for the guy next to me to go, gives him a little bit of space. It's funny, you can literally see as he ignites the burner, he just barely lifts off the ground and now he is up. Yeah, it's really crazy that we're allowed to be this close while this is all happening. I mean, these things are so big that until they get up in the air, it's really hard to fit a whole one into the camera frame. But, wow. Then we got this. We got this Nevada Battleborn balloon here. We got this one going up as well. This one's just standing up now.
Oh my god.
It is actually nuts. I mean, this is only 33. They said this is only, I think, 33 balloons that are going up today. But it feels like tons. Oh my god, that one's like going. He looks like he's gonna hit the other one. That's crazy. That is actually nuts. It's like, fuck y'all, I'm out of here. So if you've ever wondered how Jeff Goldblum got to Oz, this is how. So I guess my biggest question here is, once you're up, since they can't really steer, how do you know where you're gonna land? Like, and I guess you have the trucks, like you have a team on the ground with the truck that follows you to wherever you're gonna land, and you could pack it up there, but like, how do you know where you're gonna land?
Oh, that's why all the trucks are leaving. That makes sense.
Yeah, in my head, they could steer back here and land back here, but when he said we can't steer and launch the balloon, I was like, oh wait, they can't do that. Like, what if you just landed, like, on a mountain?
Yeah.
Or somewhere not accessible by car. So these guys actually got pushed over in that direction, because originally that Riverton one launched from literally right here. So he got pushed over there, then I guess the wind kind of changed a little bit and are now pushing them back towards us. And over the hotel there. But what's crazy is like you can kind of see it. I mean, obviously the building's blocking some of it, but that direction is all mountains. So I guess you have to be able to clear the mountain, which is pretty high, especially with a cloud ceiling on a day like today. And I bet those guys up there have a real crazy view of all of this. But personally, I'm pretty happy being on the ground watching them all go up. Like this one, who just took off. Wow. I'm sure he wasn't, but he looked really close to that lighting pole.
Yeah.
Just from the angle we were at. Oh, he is going. He's moving. I think the wind's picked up just a little bit. And then there's like 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 over there that we can see anyway. There might be more behind the building. And we still got a few on the ground. There's a few back there. There's a couple that just started blowing up just now.
Oh shit, I didn't realize this one was already like so low that I'm almost missing it.
Yeah. So I guess these are kind of like staggered. I don't know if they kind of stagger it on their own or if they're told, you know, kind of what order to go in. But I guess for a vehicle that you can't really control, it's probably good to put some spacing in between you guys. Look at that, all those in the distance. And so one of the things that I learned last night when I was talking to one of the pilots is that one thing about balloons, if they're not flying at night or flying in instrument conditions, like, you know, flying through clouds and stuff, they don't have to have the same kind of lighting systems that fixed wing and rotor aircraft do, just like helicopters and planes and stuff. Planes, regardless of, you know, how they're flying or where they're flying, have to have green and red lights on their wingtips to help them be seen, but balloons don't unless they're flying at night or flying in instrument conditions. So it's actually really cool because I was just thinking, looking up at them, you know, obviously the colors and the size of the balloon make it really, really visible, but on the actual basket, there's nothing there, like lighting wise. All you see is the occasional flash of the flame giving it altitude. We have become very not used to the cold, much more affected by even mild cold than we used to, because we're from Jersey and we used to have, you know, real winters and shit, but now we live in Las Vegas and my body has acclimated to 100-degree temperatures. So when I'm out in like 40s, 30s, and like, yeah, it feels like what, you know, 10 used to feel like to me.
And like obviously it gets this cold overnight, it gets this cold early in the morning, but like I'm in my house.
Yeah,
with the heat
I don't feel this very often.
Yeah, we don't go out.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm not even usually up at this time. It's about 8:30 right now, and yeah, I'd still be sleeping.
Oh my god, I already be like 2.5 hours into my workday. But again, my space heater's on. I'm good.
At least some of them are kind of trying to start to land over there. Looks like maybe 2 of them either are landing or have landed.
Let's see what happens. Well,
presumably if they get too far, the trucks won't be able to get to them, because if they're not on a road or, you know, directly off of one, it's probably pretty hard for their vehicles to come and collect them. So
well, it also becomes mountainous, so it has to be flat.
Yeah. Because I guess you could fly over the mountains, but then it would take the trucks a long time to get to you, if they can get to you. So I guess there's, I guess short flights are probably better and easier. And I think that's about it for the actual hot air balloon festival. We are gonna go inside, we're gonna warm up, and figure out what the hell we're gonna do with the rest of the day. All right, so our very indecisive selves have made a decision on what we're gonna do. We are gonna head up into St. George, Utah. We're gonna get some breakfast, we're gonna walk around, see what there is to see, and then head back home.